You're sitting on a sunny balcony sipping coffee. The breeze is soft, the world feels still, peaceful. And then, out of nowhere, a thought pierces the calm. How can I enjoy this when somewhere else, someone is suffering terribly? It's one of the most haunting questions of our time, made heavier by how connected we are. In this video, we'll explore the psychology behind this dilemma. Why do we feel this way? And how can we hold peace and pain at the same time without falling apart? Let's begin. Part 1. The empathic brain. Your sadness when others suffer isn't a moral flaw. It's a feature of your biology. Our brains contain mirror neurons, cells that fire both when we experience pain and when we observe someone else in pain. So when you see a video of a crying child or read about a flood displacing families, your brain begins to process that suffering as if it were yours. Think of the physical reaction you feel when you hear someone's voice break during a news interview, or that gut drop when you scroll past images of war-torn streets. That's empathy at work, biologically real, neurologically wired. This ability kept our ancestors alive. It forged trust, built communities. But today, we're exposed to more pain than our ancestors ever dreamed of. And we're not given the tools to process it, so we absorb it. We feel it. And sometimes, we break under the weight of what we cannot fix. Part 2. Guilt versus moral responsibility. Let's talk about guilt, that creeping thought. I shouldn't be happy while others are hurting. This is what psychologists call survivor's guilt. And it doesn't only appear after trauma. It shows up subtly every day. You eat a warm meal. While thinking of someone begging on the street, you plan a vacation and feel uneasy reading about those who've lost everything. You laugh with friends, and then remember someone you know just lost a parent. This is natural. But guilt, when it has no outlet, becomes toxic. It doesn't motivate, it immobilizes. From a psychological standpoint, guilt without action leads to anxiety, shame, and withdrawal. A healthier response is what we call prosocial emotion. It sounds like this. I'm grateful for what I have, and I want to use it well. I can't change everything, but I can be kind today. For example, you might donate to an aid fund after seeing a heartbreaking image. You might volunteer at a local shelter after watching a story about refugees. Or simply pause, breathe, and carry the pain with respect, not shame. Guilt says, I don't deserve joy. Compassion says, I'll let joy make me generous. Part 3. Emotional coexistence. The human heart can hold more than one feeling at a time. You can feel joy and grief at once. Peace and outrage. Hope and sorrow. Think of a moment like this. You're at a wedding full of laughter and dancing, but you're still missing a loved one who passed. Or you're holding your newborn, and suddenly, you're struck by thoughts of children born into unlucky environment. These emotional contradictions don't cancel each other out. They enrich each other. In dialectical behavior therapy, this is core wisdom. Two opposing things can be true at the same time. It might sound strange, but even in disaster zones, people still find ways to smile. Even those in the deepest mourning can crack a smile when remembering something beautiful. Let your heart breathe. Let the grief make the joy more sacred. Let the joy remind you why the grief matters. You're not wrong for feeling both. You're human. Part 4. Compassion without collapse. When empathy becomes overwhelming, it can lead to empathic distress or vicarious trauma. You may notice signs like feeling constantly fatigued after reading the news, avoiding stories of suffering because they feel unbearable, or feeling deep sadness that lingers even when nothing's wrong in your own life. That's because your system is overloaded. In trauma therapy, this is often treated the same way secondary trauma would be. Remember, you need boundaries. For example, you might stop doom scrolling after 9 p.m. to protect your sleep. You might say no to one more vent if your heart is too heavy that day. Or balance exposure with acts of beauty, like listening to music, journaling, or spending time with loved ones. As therapist Laura Vandernoot-Lipsky suggests, we can't take in all the pain of the world, but we can touch it gently and then return to center. This isn't denial. It's survival. Even paramedics, doctors and aid workers, are trained to step back to preserve their strength. You must do the same, not to feel less, but to stay present longer. Part 5. Should we feel sad? Now that's the real question. Should we feel sad when others suffer? Yes, but not in the way you think. You should feel something, not crippling sadness, but a form of empathic awareness. Yes, because sadness is a sign of empathy. It reflects maturity and emotional intelligence. It's a sign that you're not numb, that you care. But no, if it becomes a cage, the real goal is not to be sad, but to be attuned. No, if it turns your joy into guilt and your peace into paralysis, you are allowed to be happy. You are allowed to feel the sun on your face, laugh, dream, plan, love, even as the world hurts. And when you do feel joy, let it teach you how precious life is. Let it deepen your sense of purpose. A woman in safety may donate because she remembers the fear she saw on a mother's face on the news. A man in peace may write music that heals others because he remembers the silence of grief. A child told about injustice may grow into someone who fights to end it, not out of guilt, but from love. Allow sadness to open your heart, not to close it. So feel, but don't drown. Care, but don't collapse. Use your light. Don't hide it when others are in darkness. So, tell me in the comments, have you ever felt guilty for being happy while others were suffering? How did you deal with it? If you've stayed with me this far, thank you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Thinkstronaut for more deep dive analysis, and hit the bell button so you don't miss what happens next.